If you have ever wanted to learn Spring Boot but got lost in all the setup, theory, and configuration, which can be very tiring at times, this series is exactly for you. We are going to learn Spring Boot the practical way by actually building a real world project from scratch, step by step. By the end, you will have a solid understanding of Spring Boot, a fully deployable backend application you can proudly showcase in your resume. So let's get started. Hey everyone, I am Vimansh and welcome to this new playlist, Learn Spring Boot by Building a Real Project. This isn't going to be just theory or a common tutorial. I have personally worked on building and deploying several real world Spring Boot applications, and through this series, I'll be sharing not just how to do things, but why we do them that way, and the small practical lessons I have learned along the way. We will build a project called Sports Hub Manager, an app to manage sports facilities, employees, and bookings, similar to what I have implemented professionally for the production environments. So here's what we will cover in the complete journey: how to set up your first Spring Boot project from scratch. Then we will understand the controller service repository pattern, the foundation of any enterprise Spring application. After that, we will be performing CRUD operations with Spring Data JPA library. Then we will learn how to handle validations and exceptions cleanly, along with building clean APIs, which are scalable as well. Then we will connect our application to a MySQL database, along with learning about DTOs, model mappers, and logging for clean and scalable code. Then we will learn how to manage different configurations using Spring profiles, and finally deploy everything on AWS EC2 instance so that we have the application live. By the end, you will have both strong Spring Boot fundamentals and real backend project to show in your interviews or portfolios. Now let's spread a light on why we are learning Spring Boot through a real project instead of plain theory. Because theory fades away, but once you use a concept while building something real, it sticks for longer. I have seen this firsthand while working on production systems. The best way to master Spring Boot or any other tech is to use how each piece fits together in a running application. Now, before we dive in, here's what you will need to follow along. We will be using Java 17 version along with Maven for build management. We will be using IntelliJ IDE for coding. Then we will be using Postman for testing our APIs that we will be building along the way. And finally, we will be using MySQL as our database. Now, don't worry, I'll guide you through the setup and configuration in the next coming videos. Now, before we move ahead, let's have a little understanding of the roadmap that we will follow. So first, we will understand the project setup and folder structure overview. Then after that, we will start building APIs using the controller service repository pattern. Then after that, we will connect to MySQL and perform CRUD operations. After that, we will understand and add validations, error handling, logging, and configurations to our Spring application. And at last, we will deploy our application to a AWS instance. Now, each episode that we will be having in the series builds on the previous one. So you will see the project grow in complexity, just like in real software development. Throughout the series, I'll also share real world insights from my own experience, things like how to structure services for scalability, common pitfalls I faced when deploying on AWS, and how we solved performance and database issues in the production systems. At the end of this series, you will get both theoretical clarity and practical wisdom that only comes from actually building applications. Now, by the end of the playlist, you will be able to build complete RESTful APIs, connect them to a real database, understand how dependency injection, auto configuration, and JPA actually work, and confidently, you will be able to deploy your own backend to the cloud. So, if you have been meaning to really understand Spring Boot and create something tangible, hit subscribe, drop a comment with your current experience level, and join me on this journey. In the next episode, we will create our first Spring Boot project and do the setup for the same. Let's build something awesome together.